How long are we doing?
Like 35, 40.
Okay.
Whatever we feel,
Obliged.
Whatever we feel obliged.
Is that the way to do it? Is that the way to
Say that
it?
word.
No, saying
It's not the way to say it. I like saying obliged.
but in the wrong way.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
If thou art feel obliged, we go down to the
First of all,
garden.
obliged is like almost a southern frontier term.
That's what I'm doing.
No, and then
Yeah.
you started it
I'm
off
doing
with a
like-
Shakespeare. You said
No,
if
I'm
thou
doing like-
art.
I'm doing like New Orleans. Now, if y'all feel obliged,
That's fine, but that's not what you said at first. At first, you said, "Where
Now
art
thou
thou obliged?"
now if thou art feel obliged, we'll go to the graveyard and check up on the ghost.
Dude, you should do an entire play in New Orleans Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Y'all boys bat your thumb at me, sir.
Now forget thine
Wow,
father
fish.
and forget thy name. I say.
I mean, that's just the chicken.
Foghorn Leghorn.
Yeah.
I didn't like that chicken.
What's not to like?
I just didn't like. He was like so.
Repetitive.
Yeah.
But he
What
was
are
like
you
a
saying?
big.
Just
he was-
say it.
But he's like a big, clumsy oaf that you basically modeled your comedy after.
I'm more of a Tasmanian devil.
Is that what you see yourself as?
No, I see myself more as a Daffy Duck. Silly, but can make sentences.
I see you as a Daffy Duck as well because he's the victim a lot too.
He's the victim.
Yeah.
He's a villain in a couple of them too.
I know Daffy Duck is very funny. I'll give you Daffy Duck. I think I'm I think I'm Animal the Muppet from Muppet Babies.
Just smashing things and not speaking.
Yeah, I just unbridled, half
You're
anger,
like a
half
mashup
happy.
of Animal and Oscar.
Dude, you're I think is that your real voice or is the thing turned up in your microphone?
Me?
Oh, I don't know. Is it fucked up again?
It sounds a little high, yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
you sound a
I
little
mean,
high.
It's like it's right there where it could be possible if you're just feeling tired and you have a hoarse voice, or it's just not your voice.
Is that plugged into the computer? That thing? All right.
I gave you a real dismissive thumbs up. Well, welcome everybody to What's the Scenario live episode. It is April 27th, 2020. We are neck deep in the pandemic. People's lives are shattered. We are probably acting out at our spouses. Feeney can't even hold interest in us or the show. And Zagalo is hanging on by a goddamn thread as evidenced by his wild misinterpretation and overreaction to a text message I sent him earlier.
All right. It wasn't a misinterpretation, but
It was.
we'll get into this. No, it wasn't.
It truly was. Yeah, it really
No, it
was.
wasn't.
Go ahead.
I
Fill him in.
think the whole thing was a misinterpretation on both our parts.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I knew exactly what was going on with you.
We
You
need
were-
Feeney.
Do I
Yeah.
sound better or worse or the same?
You sound better. That's your voice.
We need Feeney in here to
Yeah.
do that thing that people in the middle do where they go, I could see both sides.
Yeah.
You
We-
just
I don't-
said
I don't-
that.
I
You
don't
just
s-
said that about you.
Yeah. You just said that about the conflict
No,
already. So you
no, I was
already
saying-
give up.
I was saying I think we're I think well, I guess I did say it.
Yeah. Also, Feeney
Can't
got
get
what
out
I
of-
said. See, this is why I the angelic innocence of Brendan is all well and good, but the evil of Feeney, he truly gets me on a deep level.
Okay. So I send you the briefing today. As I've been sending, I want to send these briefings to you guys so that we're all on the same level.
A Governor Cuomo briefing.
The big
Right.
C.
But you more or less sent us a 35-minute homework assignment.
I didn't
I
send you any
watched- I
homework
watched
assignment. I said if you
Yeah, of
want
course.
to watch
Here's
this,
the thing. Well, you
I've
didn't
always
say-
watched. I'm watching it live every day. What else am I
Yeah.
doing? Drinking my
I don't
coffee.
want-
I'm not
I
giving you
missed.
homework. I'm not asking
You
for
are if I'm not a daily viewer. Yeah, like I definitely
I'm-
typically read the synopsis of what he said and then, move on from that. But I don't watch 35 minutes.
No. I sent.
Yeah.
I sent that
Dude,
brief.
here's why you're wrong. Every single person that you send a video to, and it's an hour fucking Opie and Anthony clip or any other YouTube video or any other anything, if it's an extended amount of time, if there's something you want them to hear, send a fucking timestamp. You don't just say,
There's no.
this is great.
Well, I'm not everybody that you're talking about. That's not how I did it. I sent it in the same way that we send each other Instagram videos. I
Right,
don't give
but
a
it's
shit
not.
if you
It's
watch it.
35
But
minutes.
here, check this out. If you want to watch it, look, I'm not going to ask for home. I'm not even asking. I'm not even going to quiz you later on. I'm not going to
Right.
go, hey,
So
what'd you think of that
even-
briefing? I didn't send it to you in your email.
Even if
I just
this was
sent
the
it to
point
you.
of the argument, it's not, because what I said was, I was like, yeah, I'll listen. I'll read a summary. I literally just said that.
No,
and
you
you're
did
like,
not.
And you immediately took it.
No,
as,
you did not.
How dare you tell me to give you a summary? And I was like,
No,
what?
well, we were
Brendan,
already in the
I'll
fucking.
I'll read the exchange right now.
We
you
were
fucking
already
tongue
in
guzzler.
the depths of it at that point. No,
The
I sent it to you. I went,
throes.
hey, this briefing, little hopeful, little hopeless. And you went, well, New Jersey, just blah, blah, blah. So it's
Right, that's
there's
what I
not-
just
there's
said.
not hopeful. You didn't go,
No, all I
"It
said,
is hopeless." You're
you said,
going,
did you
so
watch this
not
already?
a little hopeful. So immediately throwing
I
down
didn't
the
say not
I
a
said
little
it.
hopeful. See, you're such a fucking, you're an insane person because you take everything as hyperbole and you take everything like as all encompassing. It's not what I said.
Just
There's
read
a
the
very,
first exchange. That's
I
all
will.
that matters here.
Brendan
It's
wrote-
Brendan's and then
Brendan
yours.
wrote little hopeful, little hopeless, LOL. And I wrote, New Jersey just extended stay at home indefinitely. So not that hopeful. It's literally what I said.
I guess
So
if you say it
for
like
you
that.
yeah, exactly. That's how I said it, you cunt. But instead, you're such a negative framing twat.
Okay, well then
that
what
you
did I
took that
say?
as been like, New Jersey just announced.
Well,
not
it's like
that
it was
hopeful.
annoying. It was an annoying
Why was
thing.
it? Why was it annoying?
Can I weigh in here?
Yeah.
Yes.
I will say the way I read it as for sure, it was like Brendan finally has a glimmer of hope of something good. And within, less than 30 seconds, Mike was like, yeah, well, not that hopeful.
Yeah, and that's how
Right,
I read
and
it.
that's
And then
how
you
I-
shit
that's
on
how I took
Cuomo
it.
right afterwards.
Yeah.
So
which
then
I'll
it became
continue
like
to
a
do.
doubling down of like, you're like, he takes forever to do anything and he grandstands and says a bunch of shit. So then it was like,
Well,
so
I
then
didn't
it
say,
seemed,
I only just said he's the king of taking his sweet ass time on things, which that's true. It took a really
but you
long time
understand,
for them to do any
you
action.
understand that words have meanings. And so you know that was
Yeah, but
for sure
I didn't-
like the
I didn't
antithesis of what he
recognize-
was saying.
But I didn't recognize that Governor Cuomo is Brendan's fucking blood relative that he truly gives a shit about. Like, what are you kidding? Who cares? He's a fucking, he's a lemon
Governor
that
Cuomo
works
was my
for us.
emergency contact.
He fucking works for us. I didn't realize you guys root for him as if
It's
he's
not
like you have,
that
you have
at all.
vested
I think
interest.
somebody's been
no-
spending too much time with Mario. That's what I think. That's
No,
and not
not at
Mario
all.
Cuomo.
It
Not
has
at all.
Nothing to do with Cuomo. It has nothing to do with the briefing. It was
It was me
annoying
saying,
to
so
me
not that
that
hopeful. It
for
was
a
just,
second I'm like, hey, this is a little hopeful. In there's been no hope. I
but
felt
hang on,
nothing.
but
I
hang
have
on.
felt
You also,
no
Brendan,
type of hope.
Brendan, you also opened it up for discussion because, by the way, I just sent the link to our Patreon. I'm a fucking idiot. We're just arguing for 8 minutes for no fucking reason.
Good.
But,
This records, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course. Which I also should do on Zoom. I mean, even though I don't have to, YouTube does it. But no, what I said, you opened it up with saying little hopeful, little hopeless, LOL. So I was like, yeah, not that hopeful. Like I was kind of tagging exactly what you were saying. You said
Yeah.
both things. And
I
then
think
you
it just
took, but you
affected me.
took it in a real snark. And that's what I realized afterwards happened, Feeney, is that Brendan was in some sort of fucking funk. And then he watched this thing, felt a little bit better. And I shit on his parade. And I didn't even realize I was doing that. And by the time I realized I was doing it, Brendan wrote like fucking 3 essays about why I
but
was
you
a
were
sack of
also
shit.
writing like kind of rude text messages back. So
Okay,
it wasn't
okay.
it wasn't like
So,
I was
Brendan,
like,
it's good.
Stompy the elephant.
We have it right here. You were Stompy
Yeah.
the elephant.
No, I
So-
wasn't stomping all over.
So I just said New Jersey, whatever. You said, did you watch this already? Also, we're not New Jersey. I'm not saying things are going great, but there's some things here that are a little hopeful. And I was,
Okay.
yeah, but I didn't even like you took it, whatever.
Yeah, but
So
you're
I said
reading
no.
you're reading my shit the same way I read your shit, where it's like
Oh,
that's not how I
I
said
said
it.
also
I'm
we're not
saying
New
it-
Jersey. I'm not saying things are going great, but there's some things here that are a little hopeful. Okay.
Yeah,
And I said
read it
no.
with no malice.
Okay, no, but Cuomo did you watch this already? I was answering no, but Cuomo is the king of dragging out his decisions, which I believe, and I didn't realize he was such a close friend, so I'm sorry I said that. So I'm going by a surrounding state's most recent announcement. That's it. I was just relaying information from a state that borders us, that typically their law
Look,
affects ours as well. Hang on.
The
Feeney
problem
chimes
here,
in. Feeney chimes in for the first and last time, and he says,
I saw where this
Feeney
was
stays
going.
out of it. He knows.
"Curve is
You're like-
flattened, baby." Feeney with the classic George W. Bush declaring victory 2 weeks into an Iraq, whatever. So I wrote also, that was good if you guys had any moderate.
Well, if you had
historical
confidence to
knowledge.
finish the fucking sentence,
stumbled
Jesus
through it.
Christ. It's like George Bush
Now
declaring the
Stumpy.
win.
You guys know what I meant.
Iraq. All right. So
Yeah, but
next section.
sometimes you just don't have the words, and you know what I meant. So I wrote also, we're not New Jersey, we're much worse, because we're New York City, we have a lot more people. Just watch some of it, maybe. Now you're pleading for me to watch this.
No,
And
I'm
I said-
going, hey, just watch. That's me being cunty. That's me
Right.
going, hey,
And then I
maybe
said,
just
probably
watch some
not.
of it.
You wrote cool exclamation point. And I'm like, it's 35 minutes. I'd rather get the summary. And this is where the wheels fell off.
Now there's big miscommunication going forward after that exchange.
Yeah, I'd rather get the summary. Not going to happen, Jack. That's Sagalow's next
Yeah.
line.
I thought that was
Watch
funny.
it or not, IDGA, fuck. And I wrote a summary of what he said, question mark. It'll be available shortly, if not already. Like,
I also
whatever.
think that
This is
you
the
think that I gave more of a shit than I did. If I really cared, I wouldn't go I.G. I wouldn't have done that. I would have
Brendan,
actually been like,
to say you didn't care after starting a full-fledged argument, because it goes on, and I would continue reading if it was moderately entertaining.
I
but
think
like,
this is entertaining.
I don't know.
What I think what the big thing is, I heard you saying things some way. You heard me saying things some way. It's like that Key and Peele sketch. Did you ever see that? Where they're texting and he's going like, hey, we meeting up later? And Jordan Peele is like playing video games and he goes, oh, I don't know, maybe. And then Key picks up the phone. He goes, I don't know, maybe. Like he hears it differently.
Yeah, I know.
And I think that's
and
what
I'm sure that was part of it. I do think so. But I also think that there is like also unavoidable aggressive messages coming from you.
Yeah, but I feel the same way about you.
But that's
Yeah,
only tone.
you both had both passive and straight up aggressive messages to
No,
one
mine
another.
were only passive aggressive.
Mine
No,
weren't
no,
that
you said
aggressive.
you just said this is actually starting to piss me off, is what
That's
you
oh
said.
yeah,
you
that's what
said I was
that's when I
passive?
when
said
we're
I was
like
being
6
gay.
lines that
How
when I
the hell
was
is that
when we were
passive?
6 lines down, and I was like, all right, now Brendan is obviously fucking pissed and he's completely turned the corner. So guess what? Daddy's gonna fucking turn the corner too. So that's when
right,
I said I'm
let's
getting
let's
pissed off,
turn
and
the
I think
corner
that your
here.
reaction is super gay. And I
All right.
maintain that.
Okay. I don't know what to tell you, buddy.
Well, it's good we went live.
It's a
with
good
this.
strategy. It's a good strategy for arguing, I will say. If you accidentally hurt somebody's feelings, instead of apologizing, get more mad than they are and then shut them down, and then
Yeah.
they have to apologize to you. Which
Of
he
course.
did.
Yeah.
You were mad at him, and then
Oh my God, you're my mother.
instead of
Oh my God.
Brenda's like, I'm mad at you, and he's like, well, now I'm mad at you, and he's like, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Just-
we're like dogs at a dog park.
That's pretty
forgive
much my strategy in every argument.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
but no,
forgive
all right. Well, I don't. I'm gonna hang on to this for a long time.
Hang on to it. Fucking put it up.
Well, you
Put it
know
on-
what? I blame my childhood.
And here we go.
Yeah, that was pretty
Live?
great, right? Welcome to the live episode, everybody. Boy, we had to air out some fucking grievances for the first 15 minutes, but
I don't
the
think we
topic
had to.
today, we
I
didn't
think we
have
had
to.
We
Well,
had to.
We had to. Yeah,
We had to.
We,
This
we
is
had
the
to.
least any of us have talked all day.
Feeny, trust me, you're next.
I would love if we could. And also, here's the other thing I would vote that we start doing. Maybe we can have like 1 to 3 minutes of just talking to one another before we hit record, because we join this and we're immediately on air, and there's
Yeah.
nothing. There's no dialogue. There's no catching up.
boundaries.
It's just
That was
full
fine.
show.
But I
think
feel like
the
that's what
people want.
people pay for. You know, they want
Yeah.
to be
don't
really into our
know.
personal lives.
Ironically, no one's paying for this one. Though.
Yeah.
You know
Or
what?
should they?
Brendan, that is a decision left up to us. So who knows? This may remain behind the paywall. So why is Cannon wearing a baby bonnet? Why not? Somebody said why not. And then somebody said fair. Okay, well, we have a few people in the chat, not that many. Let's go to the Patreon and start taking some questions. So this week, our theme for our live episode, as we typically do, usually these are around 30 minutes. We did 16 on each other. So but it all kind of revolves around our childhood and maybe how we were treated, what we were missing, all those things. And you just saw that play out in front of you. So it all makes sense. So we took questions from you guys, from our patrons, about our childhood. We're going to answer them right now. Ready, boys?
Yes.
So John Beatty, $20 Wood member. Good for you. Oh, as you may have seen, we just created a $50 tier because we had a very generous guy come in when there was none. And pay $50, which is, I didn't know you could do that. And now that he's paying $50 and not assigned to any tier, I can't assign him to one, and he's just floating out there with God knows what content, just paying the most out of anybody.
I think if you're given $30 over the maximum tier, you're not worried about what you're getting.
I don't think so either. And I think is that the comic who's who's also a doctor? He's a doctor, right?
Who?
That's
Yeah. Who is it?
Yeah, Michael Lee. He's a really good guy, and he's been documenting like all the shit with COVID, and because he's been working, I mean, straight up on the front lines this entire goddamn
it's crazy.
It's crazy the videos he's posting. He also showed, like, I think he showed the inside of one of those like moving morgue trucks.
Dude, yeah, I saw that.
Ooh, that was real creepy.
Ooh.
So yeah. But thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I feel like we should be paying you, but thanks. I was gonna say our tax dollars do, but they do not. John Beatty,
I don't pay taxes.
I don't either. John Beatty, if you could go back, that's because I make so little. If you could go back in time and tell your 12-year-old self 3 sentences, what would you say?
Buy stock in Apple. Buy stock in Google. Buy stock in Facebook.
Wow.
Peace.
That's yeah.
No, buy stock in Google, buy stock in Facebook, and stop looking like that.
And run.
Yeah.
Jog now.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one to start an exercise routine earlier to build that foundation.
Yeah.
I wonder
what me. I'd be like, who the fuck are you? I'd get mad at me.
You'd probably make more money off of Google than Facebook, right? The initial offering of Google.
Way more.
Really?
Yeah.
Like
because
of times more.
And Facebook, I think, started at like a really high IPO, and then they plummeted, and then they've obviously built up into, the basically the fucking surveillance state that they are. I lost all the words.
Or, it would be good, and I don't want to take any more answers from you guys, but like giving myself all of Ed Sheeran's discography or something. You know what I mean? And just be like, this guy doesn't even, he's kind of alive already. He's a little bit younger than you. Fucking go.
It's a shame that you said that, Brendan, because that we've had this conversation, and I was like, I would have Eminem's work. Like, I would take his beats and all that stuff and just say I wrote it, have 11 albums worth, probably put them all out in 1 year, like a sociopath.
Feet up.
Yeah, just put my feet up and be
but
like,
here's the thing is that you'd still have to create like the music. And if you don't,
you just have the tracks.
How do you have the tracks if they don't exist yet?
Because you bring them back in time with you.
I didn't say it. That doesn't say it in the question.
It doesn't.
Also, the thing with Eminem,
it's just 3 sentences. That's all
it
you
says
get.
if you could go back in time. Oh yeah, I guess you
3
can't
sentences.
God damn
Here's
it.
what I would do. I would say, learn the piano, learn the guitar, and fucking some other skill that probably would have helped me a lot. I don't know.
People
fucking
skills?
What?
People skills. Learn not to come so quick.
No, that's a benefit. I
really wish sometimes I could control that better, though, right? Like, wouldn't you?
Me too.
I wish like I could pop off like a porn star, like just real quick, whatever, if it calls for a quickie. But then when you got the whole night and you're like, all right, sister, I'm gonna give it to you, and you're like, no mercy.
Or when they're not ready and you're like, I've been holding this in longer than I should have.
Yeah,
like,
my toes are in knots.
Yeah.
What would you do? What would you say? 3 sentences.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I would just rap Eminem's entire discography in 3 sentences. I would say become a basketball coach. like I would it's something to the effect of, you need to know where you're at athletically. Give up now. Start comedy or coaching right this second. Maybe never drink. Like, so, because at that point, even in high school or at 12, I guess, yeah, I didn't drink. Like, just don't drink. Pot is fine. And yeah, I mean, some financial advice would have to go in there, right? Just to set yourself up, to follow your loves.
Yeah.
Do you wonder if the three of us?
You're gonna marry your neighbor. Get as much strange as humanly possible.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good one too. Go back and be like, before college, or that first 2 semesters of college, go crazy, folks, because
try.
Yeah, don't even have no standards. Just get it.
Did you have standards in college?
Not really.
No, there was a time where I was just an absolute sewer rat, dude.
My problem, it wasn't like one night stands. It was more just like I always was like, oh, we'll have sex, and then I guess we'll have to start. I was like, if I have sex with her, we're gonna have to start dating, So I was always like,
Yeah.
Poison.
That's but not
from Entourage.
Yeah, I guess. I never thought that they would want to date.
I didn't get any pussy in college. I was in love with this one girl, and she was a lesbian, so
boy,
a little bit of a predicament.
Yeah, that speaks to your childhood. Also, you really want something you can't have.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so John also apologizing for asking a second question. Please take a note from Troyer and ask a million. As many as humanly possible. John says, sorry for the double dip, but if you could relive one memory from your childhood, what would you relive?
I got two answers that come to my mind.
Yeah.
One, maybe go to Disney World with my family as a family again. Where we were all happy and like a family.
Well, you did it once and didn't have a great time, and we're like,
no, we used to do it all the time. That was like the only time that me and my family were ever like cool. You know what I mean? We're like Disney time, and we still fought there, but like, there was like, it would be nice to go back there and kind of experience.
You were a vacation family.
What?
The magic. You were a vacation family.
I was a vacation family, but we still fought. Second one, the first time I fingered a girl.
Why?
That was awesome.
Dude, I remember the first time I fingered a girl was, I'm like saying it low because there's like 16 family members outside this glass door. I was in the stairwell in 7th grade, and I remember just thinking a vagina was the crease. Like, that's how young I was and how I just shouldn't have had access to a vagina. And I remember actually feeling the hole, and it was ribbed, and I was like, oh, that's her asshole. I pulled my hand out and was like, all right, I gotta go. And I just ran down the hallway.
I gotta go.
Oh, dude, and I smelled it, and I was like, that's terrible. It was just 7th grade grime.
Is Feeney talking?
I don't know.
I can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Yeah. Oh, god damn it. I thought he wasn't talking either. I thought he was fucking with us.
Yeah.
I also feel like I don't know if he's having fun.
He's having fun.
I don't know. I haven't been able to tell if Feeney's enjoying himself for a while now.
For years.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just something about him. He looks like he's going through the motions and just, trying to keep both of us from killing ourselves.
He just got back from softball practice.
Wow, it really does look like he plays Sunday softball with his fucking
with the guys at Gotham Comedy Club.
It's fun to make fun of him while he can't do anything.
I know. Well, whatever. The first time I fingered a girl, I put it in between her vagina and her leg, and I thought that was the hole. So I was just kind of like moving my finger around like her skin. I was just kind of going like this. Like if this was her leg and this is her vagina, I'm going like you got to move over. And I was like, what? And then when I got in the hole, I was like, oh, there it is.
Oh,
you got me?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, good.
There's our boy.
I was
What were
gonna
you
say,
saying?
I think there was this vacation that my whole family went on. We all went on like it was ironically it was a Disney cruise, the Big Red Boat. We went on that as a whole, my whole like mom's side of the family, and it was so much fun. It was like all like I had like extended cousins there. It felt like we were like, and then I like met other kids. And I met two kids that were their last names were McGuire, and that was during the Mark McGuire like the height of like they're hitting the baseballs and breaking the records and stuff. And for no reason, the kid was just like we were already hitting it off and friends. Like I didn't need to be incentivized, but he's our uncle. And I'm like, you're out of here. You're crazy. What? And he's like, he is. He's like, and again, this wasn't me.
He takes out
like,
a signed syringe. He's like,
he
look.
was like, yeah. He's like, I'll get you. He's like, I'll get you a signed ball. I don't have a problem. And I'm like, really? Like this seems okay. Yeah. I mean, sure, for sure. And then we hung out the whole week. And then of course I just never heard from him ever again. And you were like, what a weird, like we were already hanging out. Like you didn't need to do that. What a weird thing to promise.
But
Dude,
that's the
kids-
thing with kids. Kids
Yeah, they
sometimes
lie
are like,
all the time.
yeah, it's just like, all right, what sounds good? What would I like to hear right now that this person will just consider me a hero for?
When I here's a funny story that's kind of like your story. When I was in Lehigh summer camp, I was friends with a guy and his last name was Piazza.
Oh,
And I was like, oh, like the baseball player, the one baseball player that I know, because his name sounds like pizza. I know him. And he's like,
His name
he
sounds
goes,
like pizza.
you
he
mean
goes,
you didn't know
"Yes,
Jeff
but-"
Berger?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Chad French fries.
Yeah. Steven Cheeseburger Deluxe. Yeah.
And then that just set the history. And then
Frank
and then everything
Smoothie?
Oh, well, he's
so,
not
but
having
I was
those.
talking to him and I'm like, oh, like the baseball player. Are you related to that baseball player? And he goes, I get that all the time, but no, we have no relation. And I just told everybody that I know that dude's like nephew or so. I lied for him.
Okay.
I used him as like my,
That's
Platform.
hilarious.
people to Kevin Bacon or whatever that is.
Funny, weird story about that kind of relates to Feeney's story is Nicole in, I think, 10th grade, or maybe it was earlier than that. We were younger, maybe 9th grade. She went on the Big Red Boat with her friend and their family, and she put her head on some guy's shoulder, and I broke up with her.
I thought you were gonna say she went on the Big Red Boat and got fingered by Mark McGuire.
No.
gonna-
I would have killed her.
Dude, that 10th grade drama, like
Ninth grade,
like
dude.
that.
I remember it. She also drank at a Bare Naked Ladies concert, and I broke up with her.
Well, you know what?
What a loser.
Yeah, dude.
Knocked her up,
I
so-
well, I was straight edge, man. I couldn't be with a chick that drank. How wild is that?
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah,
Has
that's a
Nicole
different version
drank
of me.
since like post baby.
She's been drinking this entire quarantine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she just threw the kid down the steps 3 minutes ago.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, she's enjoyed a few spirits.
Yeah, because she doesn't smoke, right? So
No.
that's her release.
Yeah. I
Speedy,
go
Oh,
ahead,
sorry.
Sagala.
I was gonna ask, what's like the first time you fingered a person?
I was trying to think of the
You
first.
said a person.
Yeah, I was trying to
That's
think
funny.
of. I know that some of the early ones included, and I'm trying to like. I'd have to really like go through the timeline, but I know there was a girl that who later who I guess was always a lesbian, but wasn't at the time. That I used to finger, and then there was
Me too.
yeah,
Oh,
and then there was another.
That was great.
There was another chick who I fingered with my like best friend sitting directly in front of us who was playing Nintendo 64, and we were just
Yeah.
on like a futon behind her, and then we were like
yeah.
playing the game while he was playing the game while we were like, you know what I mean? It would be so that
And you were playing her game.
yeah.
Hey, it's a claw
Her
game. It's a claw
Yeah.
game.
And to
You
this
just pick
day,
her
she
up
had
by
the
her vagina.
hairiest pussy.
That is that's a wild thing, right? Like when you're just
It's
like,
too
I
much
don't
for-
mind it. I don't
I
mind
do
it gets
because
a
the
little tough when
hairs-
you like
the
have
hairs
to-
get so wet, and then they get
Yeah.
like trapped and pinchy, and then your finger gets like kind of stuck in the thicket.
the thing that ruined it for me was thinking of like, because the hairs get so wet, you have to like almost like, fucking hacksaw your way through it. I kept thinking, Brendan, that's all you.
Sorry, fuck.
I kept thinking like of my friends when they sweat in gym class and like their matted down hair, and I was just like, ugh.
Oh, that is gross.
Oh, I didn't. I
Yeah.
never ate a girl out that had that. I was just talking.
Oh, I
finger.
did. Yeah, I've
Wet
gone
pubes
crazy.
is like Afro Sheen. You know what I mean? It's like, what was that? What's that shit from
Soul
Coming to
Glow?
America?
Soul Glow.
Soul Glow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
That's fun. All right, let's get to another question. Let me see. Which Troyer has one. If you were going to marry and have kids with one girl you had a crush on before high school, who would it be? Cannon, don't cop out and say your wife because you've known each other. Okay, let's just say I can't say my wife.
Yeah.
Before high
marry a
school, you
girl.
said?
Yeah,
I was
that
in
you had a
love
crush
with
on
this-
before high school.
I was in love with this chick in 7th and 8th grade. And it was one of those things where it was like, I started dating a girl and then she had a boyfriend. And then it was like one of those, like, we never were single. And then it was a thing
Right.
where I think like
Mm.
we went to different high schools and then we tried to like talk in high school, but it just wouldn't, it just like didn't work out and stuff. And then she moved to Florida. So it was like it was all over with, but she had giant boobs.
Oh, those were the best in middle school, right? Where that's all that
Mhm.
mattered. You're like, look at those.
Yeah, yeah. Best.
I mean, I went to high school with all the girls I also did not like. I went to middle school with. There was no, so it's still the same pool of people pretty much.
Yeah.
But almost all like the older girls, like when I was in 6th grade and the 8th graders, I ended up actually hooking up with one of them, and we worked together at that a retarded camp. I think we did. Her dad owned it actually, and he was
President Retard.
He was the CEO tard.
Beanie, you're gone again. You're gone.
Oh, God damn it,
Talking.
Feedy.
You're gone
Can't
again.
hear you. He is so pissed.
What is it?
I know.
What
I
does
don't
it keep,
know.
why does it keep doing that?
Maybe your batteries are dying.
No, I was doing that during the roast battle thing too.
Man,
right?
he really does look like the most bro-y version of himself that I've ever seen.
Yeah, dude. I feel like that guitar should be a paddle.
I feel like he
No.
I feel like he takes his ping pong ball, rubs it in GHB, and then shoots.
And just get it over with.
So is this quality horrendous?
Yeah, the quality is going to be horrendous,
It's
but we
okay.
only have a few more minutes left anyway. We're not going to get to all these questions, but I think this should be we'll answer the rest of them on a proper episode. What do you say?
Yeah, I don't even have an answer for the last. Probably this girl that was like in our friend group. She was like super cool and super hot. So, her.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're all nightmares now. He said, which drug would you give you and your friend group at age 12? Nothing. It waits.
Yeah, I would go. You got all the time in the world.
Yeah. Slow your roll. You'll make up for it outside of New York Comedy Club.
Yeah, but if I had to choose, probably weed because I only a year later I was smoking it.
And it's the least. You won't fuck yourself up.
Yeah, imagine
give
giving my
yourself
12-year-old
blow at
me
12.
cocaine.
Britney Spears was doing blow on a private jet when she was 12 years old. How hot is that?
That's so hot.
Oh, dude, hottest 12-year-old going. All right, so next question.
Can't
Maybe
hear
we'll get
Feeney.
to. I know. Maybe we'll get to one or two more. Mike, can you talk through your computer?
The back now?
Still. Yeah, you're back.
There you go.
I honestly think it's the input on the right side of I think the USB on my right side of my computer, because I think that's what I was plugged into when it wasn't working for roast battle. Because one of the
Your voice, you're coming in. Your voice is so low. It's,
Like,
I
I
like
think
it
that's
for
what's happening with roast battle as well.
dude, it
No,
sounds like
please
you were
keep
doing
going.
whippets for a second.
It just turns out the
No, dude, come on. You could talk. Just say
talk.
I'm
It's gonna
kind
be
your
great.
father.
Just restarting.
All right, last question. Let's just do the last question. This has been a hilarious, ridiculous live episode, and I hope we continue to do the podcast after it.
We're all breaking.
Yeah, I think this is it. All right, Libertardian, that's a hilarious name. She's a genderless icon with a hammer. Thank you.
Libertard.
Libertardian. What was accepted as I like this question. What was accepted as normal or okay adult behavior / content around you as kids that blows your mind now?
Oh man,
So much.
everything.
Well,
Comedy. like stand up. My parents will watch stand up,
Yeah.
and like, I was young. Oh, also my mom watched. I remember the first time I ever saw boobs was in that movie with Richard Pryor and Gene. What's that? See No Evil. You know that
Yeah.
movie?
Yeah. Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder.
Do I
Yeah.
sound normal now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, you're saying no.
Who, Brendan?
You sound
Oh,
great.
come on,
You sound
dude.
great, man.
What does it say?
I'm having no fun.
I wish you were having fun. I really
I
feel
know,
like
'cause
this
this
might be
is
the
so
last
much fun.
episode. I know. I'm really sad. Feeney, are you finished? No, just talking to the mic.
Just talk like that. It's fine. It's
It'll
funny.
be great. People enjoy it.
Yeah.
Talking through
Well,
this. It's gonna
you know
sound
what?
shit, but I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on with this.
Shagalo, why don't we both just start talking like this?
Yeah, we'll all talk like
It sounds like that even now.
No.
No.
Okay.
But
That was
you
cool.
know,
We should have played around with that.
I know
It
that
could've been
was
a
real
bit.
fun. Could have been a bit.
Could have been a bit.
Well, that's why I said he sounded great, and you were like, your face.
I couldn't
glitched.
hold it in.
Yeah, yes.
I was laughing like I was like, oh my, because it sounded so cartoonish. Dude.
It was
sounded
hilarious.
so funny. I couldn't.
So you know what I was gonna say before.
Oh, I wish we got you to say something really sensitive about yourself and like.
I was.
You know.
I was about to. I was
Oh,
about
no.
to explain me.
Before
Guys, when I was 12, somebody raped me.
my dad made me sit on his lap while he masturbated.
Oh my god.
Technically,
That seemed
he
like a
wasn't.
personal trauma that you
Technically, he didn't touch me, so we didn't think it was too bad. But then he convinced me not to tell mom. Made it seem like it was my fault.
That turned into like a Louis impression almost.
I wish you guys
That
would have
just
laughed.
is a real
It's
thing,
not a
I
Louis
think.
impression.
No, that's a Brendan story from his life. That's his uncle Louis.
Yeah.
So let's answer this question and then get out of here, and then we will just mosey on out for a regular episode. We'll answer the rest of these questions then. So yeah, what was accepted as normal and okay adult behavior? Brendan didn't really answer my comedy. You said I watched Jammin' in New York when I was 7, but I wasn't allowed to. I snuck in to watch that when my dad and grandpa were watching. But there are so many pictures of me when I was like 2 in a fucking like whatever, reaching up for my dad, and my dad's like fixing something with a cigarette dangling out of his mouth and like the ash coming onto my forehead with a plume of smoke just billowing into my fresh face. And I'm like, oh,
There's so many pictures like
there
that.
are so many.
At some point, you got to blame the photographer. You know, I mean, what's going on?
Like-
Somebody's.
like-
This isn't
like,
National
we gotta-
Geographic.
I
We
know,
can't.
and film was so precious.
Yeah.
It's not like there's digital pictures.
We can't interfere with the wildlife.
There's a minimum 100 pictures like that.
Yeah. Oh my God. What was the question?
What was something like behavior or content that was accepted when you were a child, adult behavior? Or
Oh,
content?
there's a picture. My parents dressed me up in like sunglasses and put like a cigarette in my mouth and holding a Budweiser can at like
Oh yeah, that's classic.
2. Yeah.
Oh my
I
God.
feel like people still do that though.
Yeah, but now you get shamed for it. Back
Yeah.
then it was
Dude,
hilarious.
I'm gonna do one where Crew's just holding a giant fake $100 bill, and there's just gonna be a rail a blow in front of him.
You honestly should do that. I think
Dude, you should hire a bunch of like strippers, none of them being white, and just have them topless while he just sits like on the fucking couch.
I mean, I would if he was still like that. He's like 9 months and almost talking. It's insane.
Whoa.
No, but he's like that. He's like saying my name and he's just rambling all day. It's fucking wild.
He's going Mike Cannon.
And he's standing up all the time. Like it's
Yeah, how pissed would you be if he just starts calling you Mike?
Yeah.
Like Bart Simpson.
That would really upset me, I think.
He'd be like, wow, this kid's a genius. Holy shit.
I think somebody's breaking the house. All right. Nothing. I just heard something outside. Oh my God. Oh, that's a story for Irish Goodbye.
Tomorrow.
Actually, yeah, tomorrow recording. But yeah, any guys, thank you so much for tuning in. That was our live
Thanks for
episode.
listening, everybody.
Sorry for the technical difficulties.
Yeah, we had some technical difficulties, but I think we had fun. We we got through some drama early on. Brendan, I feel
Hash
like
some
we're
shit
okay
out.
now. Are we okay?
We're okay. Are we okay?
I don't know. Are we okay?
I don't know.
Alright.
That's how Irish people don't make it work.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
when
also
everything's okay.
I'm gonna
like,
make it a point
yeah.
for tomorrow to be the first day we don't talk in quarantine, just to let you sit with whatever's going on.
We're
right
okay. Feeney's getting it tomorrow.
now. Okay. Well, sign up patreon.com/scenario pod. It's called What's a Scenario. We do a bunch of hypotheticals, what if, different scenarios. We bat them back and forth. Obviously, our relationship is what it is. We're very combative. We're very loving. We're very funny. And I think you guys would love the show if you want to sign up. Anything else, boys?
Please. And thank you for those who have. We love you.
Thank you so
Yes.
much. We love you. We'll
Appreciate
read your
that.
name off on Wednesday. And we appreciate you, everybody. See you next time.
Bye.
Brendan, with that noise.
I guess I got